I'm Alice.
I'm Yiming.
I'm Blaire. And I'm Samantha. So once someone told me that I have started to save on procrastination using a simple rule. For every one thing that takes 1 minute or less, I will not put it off. And I was intrigued. At first it seemed trivial. Take out the trash, make that phone call right now. But it became more significant because it became a 60-second countdown of me needing to participate in class. It became 1 minute instead of 5 of self-doubt or hesitation. For me, I came to define motivation in 1 minute increments. For me, 1 minute became a lot more meaningful. For me, 1 minute became a reference point for history, for the future, for the present, and for reflecting on how you and I exist right now together simultaneously. For me, that's how I looked at time. And nowadays we love to define things. We either define things or we let them be. In a sense, that's how we look at technology. Technology is a way of being efficient, of being very good at putting our time into small increments. But at the same time, we can waste time so easily in that way. And so today we asked you to reconsider time.
So many of the times we hear people say, life is a race against time. It sounds like time is the big enemy we have to compete with. There are people say that, I want to do blah, 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 but I don't have the time. It sounds like time is the only thing that's stopping you from getting things you want from life. But is that true? Isn't time great for us? Isn't time the thing that allows things to grow and happen, and allows things to develop and make changes? So isn't time something that every life experience is embedded in? So now, actually, if we think about it, it's really not about overcoming the time constraint, like beating time or like winning the race against time, but rather how to turn time from the foe to a friend. If we think about it, time is only formidable if you're behind time, but not so when you're in time. So I ask you guys to not try to compete with time, but rather try to turn time to friend by being in time, by acting in time, by expressing love in time, and by acting in time, but by learning in time. So try to be in time.
Personally, coming to the University of Virginia, everyone always tells me, use the most of your time. Participate in anything you want and everything you want. Don't be afraid to try out for something you might think that you'll never go into. For example, I went out and attempted to try for the Jefferson Literary and Debating Society, and I got it. I tried out for different things like first year council, and I got it. And the reality is, I didn't budget my time well. I would procrastinate, I would always be doing extracurricular activities, and I didn't value time. Time is so important in our lives. We only have a limited amount of time as human beings on this earth. And one of the things I really regret about is not spending my time wisely. One of the activities that I was originally in was Relay for Life, and unfortunately, I prioritized and decided to drop it. Now thinking back, I regret it extremely as Relay for Life is coming closer and closer. The reason why I joined Relay for Life was for my grandfather who passed away from gastric cancer. And now I realize that I made a horrible mistake by dropping out of that committee and not being a part of something so important. And so that's why I wish you guys would take the most of your time, value time.
Sometimes we tend to set our mind to something and spare minimal attention to everything else. Our feelings, interpersonal relationships, family, and society. Things that actually define our experience at the moment and our place in time. My grandpa passed away this past month. For a long time, the fact that he's gone forever didn't seem real to me. I reacted with denial and continued on with my busy schedule until one day, I finally had the time to go out and draw. Yet the moment I had picked up my pencil, tears began to fall down my cheek. I suddenly remembered this portrait of my grandpa that I started but never finished. Just like the countless times I put off calling my grandpa by claiming that I was too busy. I gave myself the same excuse whenever I came across that half-finished portrait. Looking back, I could hardly believe that this insensitive person was actually myself. I raced against time, and I thought that my grandpa would wait for me. How foolish was I? Just like people who are blinded by wealth, many of us are blinded by time. We see time as if we own it, like money that people obsess over, with some kind of material goods that we fear losing or wasting. We tend to forget something very simple. Time doesn't exist like little fragments in each of our pockets. We exist in time. Time is like a stream that flows through everything and fuses everything into a continuum of history. It is time time that turns strangers into friends. It is time that connects people of different generations to form families. Time brings us to this moment here and now, and I think there is something truly special about every relation crafted by time. Sadly, we just don't think about these things when we busy ourselves with personal goals. We forgo our chance to create memories with each other and take such opportunities for granted. But as soon as we realize our common existence within time and our connection with each other through time, we start to become a little less self-centered and a little more conscious of our surroundings, especially of the things and people that we truly cherish.
So being in college, we dedicate so much time towards our academics, our organizations, our friends, and occasionally our family. We become so convoluted in this mess of social life, clashing with academic rigor. And while all of these are fundamental to our lifestyle, how many times have you just stopped and let yourself breathe? We forget that we need times to dedicate towards ourselves. Reflection, meditation, even an hour of confinement to consider how we're changing, growing, maturing as individuals. If we go even a week without this sort of self-contemplation, we've wasted the time that we should be spent growing. Thus, we should appropriate me time, a minute, an hour, however much time you need, to careful contemplation, because giving ourselves more me time allows us to fully appreciate the time spent well with others. So this sort of time committed to ourselves is necessary for both growth and overall healthy living. So ultimately, reconsider your time.